Let's move on to probably the biggest game of the weekend, but one that we probably wouldn't have thought was the biggest game of the weekend a couple of weeks ago. Newcastle United have had a busy couple of weeks, right? And they take on Spurs in the first game, a game that sees Steve Bruce, I think, take charge of his 1,000th game. This could be dangerous to say this because, he might be gone between now and the start of the game, but I think he's got a chance. I think he's going to be able to kind of survive all of that. There's been so much talk, of course, about the takeover, but we're now back into the football games, and they've got to survive. They need to stay in this division this season. They're going to have January as that opportunity to give them that kind of turbocharge in terms of new players coming in. And there seems to be a bit of a short list of players that has leaked out there. Now, I'm not sure if this is completely right, but let's have some fun with it, just in case this is the case, because what we're all thinking, as soon as the kind of money comes in, you go, okay, when is it? January. January's when the transfer window opens. Okay, who's the Robinho signing? Who's going to be the Robinho signing? So I've got a list of sort of 7 names here that seems to have been kind of leaked out as the shortlist that they're putting together. But before, I'd be interested to know if a player that you are thinking of who would be the Robinho signing, if that's a person who's on this list. So who would you like to see be that guy?
I don't know if a Robinho signing is a compliment or not. I mean
it's exciting.
Yeah, I mean it in a compliment. I think it could be Sterling. I don't know why. I've got this weird feeling that Sterling goes there and becomes Newcastle's Robinho for a little period. Because I remember when City got Robinho, he was like the main guy. And then they started to get all these other random folks in. So maybe Sterling. Right, who do you reckon?
So the name that I went to straight away, because here's the thing with this takeover and with the change of the guard, I guess, or I mean, let's call it what it is, literally ripping out the squad and putting in a new one. You've got to do it. You've got to do it quite slowly. So sort of having that bar of, an amazing spine that you probably want to create as quickly as possible. As a QPR fan, I remember when we had all the money and we had a squad that had a lot of sort of championship players, not great names, but solid guys, right? And then it got to January and we're like, well, we've got this money and we're struggling. Well, let's spend this money on these huge names. And it just about got us over the line. But I think it's going to be an ugly season for Newcastle United because the squad isn't great so far. The name that I went straight to, which was a player that can come in now, but as the squad grows and improves, could grow with that squad and wouldn't be out of place. That player is, and it's not really a Robinho type player, but it's Jesse Lingard for me. As a player who can come in, if you think about how West Ham played last season, very solid at the back, very sturdy, and then you've got Antonio and you had Jesse Lingard doing bits up top. And you're going to get the work rate from him. You know that he knows the league. He can score in the league. I feel like someone like Jesse Lingard would be a perfect person to bring into a Newcastle side that doesn't score goals, looks to be quite defensive at this moment in time. But and Jesse Lingard was on this shortlist. So let me run through this shortlist for you and see who we put forward. I mean, Raheem Sterling's one of those where, because some people are going, nah, he'd cost too much about Jesse Lingard. I'm like, don't worry about that.
They've got all the money in the world.
Yeah. Seriously, don't worry about that. So on this shortlist, we've got Jesse Lingard, Nemanja Matic, Phil Jones, Ross Barkley, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Alfredo Morelos from Rangers, and James Tarkowski, who's out of contract at the end of a season. I mean, none of them scream Robinho, do they, mate?
They're all like really odd signings. They're signings Newcastle would make if they didn't have money. Now they've got loads of money. They can like look for anyone. I was thinking more like James Ward-Prowse, like someone who's really good for a team in and around them that they can get in. I just hope they don't do what City did in the first phase. And I don't think they will because they've been linked to a good director of football and good coaches. I just think like it's going to be a completely odd season because when January comes around, they might be like 18th in the league, scored like 12 goals. And then I think in Feb, they're going to suddenly start scoring loads of goals because they'll just go and buy whoever they want. And there are good players available. I mean, City wanted to get rid of Bernardo Silva. That was another one that came to mind. But then I think like you've been in that situation with QPR where you had some money. I think the difference here is they can literally go to the market and say, Coutinho's available for 55 million. We'll take that one. Sterling, 85. We'll take that one. I reckon they could just like literally just go through the market and just keep picking players up. And then the problem will be Steve Bruce probably isn't that guy to take that team forward if you're spending 200 million on players. So they need to find that guy. I personally think it's Brendan Rodgers, someone who's dealt with money, really well dealt with money at Liverpool, dealt with bringing players in who weren't quite at it, but squeezed more out of them, got Liverpool to a second, got Leicester into the top four, took Leicester from this outsider team to a top four, top five. I don't even know what it is anymore. Like just these top teams, this bracket of top teams. I don't think he'll do it in Newcastle overnight, but he could be the guy who takes it forward steadily into wherever Newcastle want to be.
Let's talk about Spurs, mate, because Harry Kane's still struggling. And again, we talk about international breaks. I think this would have been one where all Spurs fans and Nuno himself would have gone, okay, thank goodness. They move into this game, a game which they would have looked earmarked as a real possibility for a victory. Kane has scored 6 goals against Newcastle. 5 of them have been at St. James's Park. How can Spurs get Kane firing again? Because he's really struggling to score goals this season.
Well, you're going to have to strap in. I've got a theory.
Okay.
I think when I look at Raul Jimenez under Nuno, and then I look at Kane, they're not too dissimilar. They want to come deep. They want to sort of try and make the game happen and then arrive in the box. Kane isn't this guy who's going to stand in the box and score goals. It's not what he does. He can do a bit of everything. I just think when I look at England players from the Euros, they've had a Euros hangover. I haven't seen many players come back. Like Luke Shaw was brilliant in the Euros. He's had not the best start. Maguire the same. Kane, Mount's been in and out of that Chelsea side. Stones can't get back in the City side. Walker's an anomaly, but Pickford's not been great either. There's a big crop of these England players that are definitely having a hangover from the Euros. That's not too uncommon. I remember Thierry Henry once saying that like players go away and whether you win or you lose, you come back and you're physically and you're emotionally exhausted. Then I think Kane obviously had the City saga where he was definitely desperate to go. And now they've got Nuno who isn't going to play expressive football. I mean, they had that with Jose. So I think there's a lot of things going on. And I don't think it's a case of like Kane might score 2 against Newcastle and be completely fine. I think he's probably going through a hangover from the Euros. He's going through figuring out where Nuno wants Spurs to go, because after 3 games, they were top of the league. And now they look like a side that might have to compete for the top 10. So they're going to have an up and down season. I just worry if I'm a manager and my main man looks like he can't be bothered to play, which is all I keep reading, whether that would have a knock-on effect on everyone else in the team.
So going into this game, we've got 2 teams that, despite the kind of fanfare around the game, it could be a real stinker. What are you thinking about this game in terms of your prediction?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to be taking off my Sunday to watch this game. You got Nuno against Steve Bruce. It's not going to be aggressive, exciting
This
football.
could be horrific, isn't it? Yeah.
The only reason I'll probably watch it is St. Maximan because he's so entertaining. I think it'll be 1-0 Newcastle. I think Spurs will really, really struggle. I think Wilson's back as well. And when he plays for Newcastle, they're a completely different team. Are you going to take your Sunday off and sit and watch Newcastle against Spurs? I got a feeling you might not.
I mean, I'll consider it. I mean, it might be a match of the day job. I don't know. I think I'm just fascinated to almost see the interaction between Bruce and the fans almost as much as anything, because I think it does feel like the writing's on the wall for that one. I feel like he's gone already. It's just when. My prediction, I see Spurs winning this one. Actually, I think this could be, you don't just turn a team around overnight, and I think you might get a bit of a reaction, but I expect a 2-1, maybe a 3-1 win for Spurs.
Can't score goals.
I know. Yeah, I think 3's maybe okay. Forget 3, 2-1. I'm going 2-1 to Spurs in this one. Let us know what you think. First game for Newcastle since the takeover. Will there be a reaction? Let us know in the comments below. Hi guys, James Allcott here from ESPN's Football Forecast. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed the video and you want to check out more, make sure you subscribe to ESPN UK.